All right. Well, welcome everyone. The party literally has already started. My name is Keith Clark, and I'm at CSF, and you are.
And I'm Anne-Marie Schaefer, CSF.
And we're here to celebrate a great person with a farewell celebration that hopefully is befitting of the impact and the presence that she has.
So, hey Keith, you know that Jennifer is from Jamaica, right?
Really?
Yeah. And when you think of Jamaica, what comes to mind?
Beaches. Nice beaches.
What about Bob?
Marley?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Usain Bolt?
Yay! And we can't forget Mr. Bombastic himself, Shaggy.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
Not me. But don't forget one major thing. It's all in everybody's mind. I'm gonna give you a hint.
Okay, so I miss a person or a thing?
It's a thing.
Okay, got you.
It comes from Mother Earth.
Okay.
It was once banned in some countries because people believed that it caused radical thinking.
Okay. One more hint.
If I close my eyes right now, I think I can smell some.
Ah!
Blue Mountain Coffee. Wait, what were you guys thinking of?
What were you? I knew it was the coffee all along.
Yeah, okay.
But guess what, Keith? Do you know that Jennifer embodies all of that? Do you know that?
I hope so, yes.
She's as calming as the beach. She has enviable musical talent like Bob Marley. We saw her firsthand during the pandemic, and the MD can attest to that. You ran faster than Usain Bolt with the charge to lead the CMT. As the Jamaicans in the house know, Quarry was a boy to you last night. Quarry was our predecessor to Usain Bolt. And she has more accolades than Shaggy himself. But who's counting? And she has the energizing spirit of as a cup of Blue Mountain. Jennifer, that's all you. You're all Jamaican.
Yes. And because we want to make sure that we follow Jennifer's directions of being lively, being engaging, and not talking a lot, I want to bring up the first speaker to the stage, the director of CSF, Brian Christensen, who will then, great, yes. Yeah, come on, come on, Brian, come on. The only piece I didn't get to say was after Brian speaks, Brian will then turn it over to the MD. All right?
Great.
That'll be a pleasure. Hi, everyone. Wow. It's great to see so many family members of Jennifer's, so many friends, so many colleagues here. Welcome all. It is quite clear, we're looking at you, that Jennifer has made a mark, not just on the institution, but on all of us. This is a special day. Yes, we get to celebrate Jennifer's many achievements and dedication to the fund, but we also get to wish her farewell and all the best for a very well-deserved retirement. But even more importantly, and let's be honest here, this is a momentous day because we finally get to listen to some reggae music. We finally get to eat some Japanese food, I hope, and have some drinks. We have waited, frankly, a long time for this, because we've certainly talked a lot about reggae, we've certainly talked a lot about Jamaica. And I can say this because thankfully, as Keith and Anne-Marie just alluded to, thankfully, Jennifer prefers a party over a speech. So I'll try and be short, because if I'm not, then Jennifer will promptly say, enough already. She's been known to do this when she gets a little bit impatient with something. We celebrate today a remarkable colleague and a friend. Jennifer has been an important part of our professional journey at the fund, and we've all been touched by her kindness, her graciousness, and her compassion. And we've all benefited from her wise and thoughtful counsel. Be it in legal department, I see a lot of colleagues from current and former from the legal department here, where Jennifer spent most of her career, anticipating and preventing potential problems from happening. Occasionally, she also took care of some of them, and maybe more often than we would care to know, sorting out all sorts of problems that people had created or legacies from the past that finally caught up to us. Some such as those that were hiding in some of the building, materials in the building here, from the back when the building was constructed. Or be it in corporate service and facilities department, where Jennifer's legal background and appreciation for a well-reasoned and beautifully written brief came in very handy, but didn't quite prepare her for the never-ending, and I really truly mean never-ending, supply of PowerPoints and spreadsheets. Nor did it prepare her for the never-ending challenges of certain construction projects. And frankly, she should perhaps have known, because I guess Sydney could have warned her that even the smallest modernization of a restroom project can turn into quite a difficult challenge. Others came to know Jennifer through the crisis management team, as already was alluded to, from the very initial evacuation of our people in Beijing and Hong Kong due to what we referred to at the time the novel coronavirus, to a full-blown lockdown, and we all know the story from there. She carried us safely through to the return to office, even living with COVID, although again, we really couldn't call it novel anymore. And finally, to the introduction of the hybrid. What a journey it has been for all of the people, and again, I'm seeing a lot of you that have been involved in that process for those many, many, many months. So in whatever way our paths crossed, we have been fortunate to spend time with Jennifer and to learn from her. She has told us countless stories and anecdotes, sometimes purely out of entertainment, but also, as I reminded colleagues, on her last day, the very last thing we had was a happy hour. Even there, she told us anecdotes, not just to entertain, but also to illustrate a point and to teach us something. She has taught us constantly. She's taught us always to do what is right for the fund, and reminded us that we are merely custodians of this great institution. She's taught us that we must never forget the long view, and that relationships are always worth investing in and will always outlast the issues at hand. When things get tough and when the uncertainties of the moment stressed us, she always provided a calming reassurance and noted that this too shall pass. She has shown us that when we can get things done, and we can get a lot of things done, in fact, yet still be good to each other and have fun and balance in our lives. But above all, I think we have all been fortunate to experience Jennifer's friendship. So Jennifer, as you now finally get some more time to spend with Sydney, with your friends and with your family, and on the beaches that you love, we thank you for everything you've done. We will greatly miss your warmth, your smile, and your collegiality. I personally want to thank you for all you have taught me, for your trust in me, for partnering with me. The past 3 years have gone by in a blink, frankly. It's been like in a time warp. And even when it felt that we were constantly communicating 24/7, it's for sure we certainly got to know each other during this time, and I wouldn't miss it. I would never miss this. I know we'll stay in touch. Wherever you are in the world, we will never be able to keep track of you, but we will be staying in touch. So with that, I now have the privilege to hand over to Kristalina, our Managing Director. Thank you, gentlemen.
Wagwan to all from Jamaica. Hello, everyone. It is a great celebration in front of us because what the colleagues of Jennifer have done most appropriately is to bring this band. Where did they go? They're right there. So to the planners of my retirement, please take notice. I want to go back in the day we appointed Jennifer to be director, and I remember the exact date. I don't know whether you do, because it is my late mother's birthday, February 3rd. So she steps into the job on February 3rd, and she's thinking of doing the good business in the way we know how to do it. And then comes March 13th. The whole fund goes home to work remotely. And I still remember we were talking with Jennifer, well, a couple of months, maybe 2, should we say 2? I mean, we are writing message to staff, should we say 2? Well, let's be more conservative, maybe we say 3. Little that we knew at that time how long it would be. And what Jennifer has done for all of us, for each and every one of us, is so remarkable because she kept us safe. We have lost no staff member of the fund to COVID. COVID is as we know, really dangerous thing, and we lost family members of our staff members, but we were so diligent, and of course working with the health services, working with other institutions, and very promptly executing what science tells us, what data tells us. This is how we run it. I have one question in my mind, Jennifer, and when we get into the dancing and drinking part, I hope you would answer. What came to you? What was on your mind when COVID hit us? I have some speculations. I thought maybe you said to yourself, Chris Hammer's timing is impeccable. He ran. And of course, it's great to have Chris here. Or you thought that that was your mission at the fund, to do this job and do it so perfectly well. I also want to share with you something that really impressed me at that time. So Chris tells me, of course I consulted him, who is the best person to take over the department? Chris said, look, it's really up to you. You should run the competition, but in my opinion, we have the right person, and this is Jennifer. So Jennifer is to be appointed, and I'm talking to her, and remember, Jennifer, I told you we would like you to be the director, and you kind of hesitated for a second, and then you asked, are you going to make me a permanent director, or I would be in acting capacity? Why I'm sharing this? Because Jennifer, like many of the women at the fund, is part of this generation that, aside of everything else, transformed the leadership of the fund from one that was dominated by men to one that is diverse. And of course, not for a second I thought anything but that she is the person to run for us the General Services Department. So I want to say three things from the history of Madame Lester. Number one, Jennifer has 25 years of excellence at the fund. Brian mentioned that she was in the legal department. I want to say not just in the legal department, but she was Assistant General Counsel responsible for very sensitive matters of administration of the institution. And she did so many things for the fund to be a better place for staff, including to make sure there is a mediation office, that people can turn to it, that there is a staff employment framework that is clear and transparent, that there is an institutional review process and orderly rules in a staff handbook. But what we probably, our crop here, those of us around, would remember most vividly is what you have done by making the hybrid model, work model, a reality. We will work on it, we will improve it, but this is our modus operandi, and it is Jennifer, ladies and gentlemen, that did it for us. Two, I don't know that many people who are natural consensus builders like Jennifer. I never heard her, so we have an issue, we are debating it. I never heard her to say, oh, but that's my view, this is how it should be, I'm the boss. She would listen to everybody, and she would particularly carefully listen to her own staff. And by doing so, she steered a road ahead during COVID when there was no handbook on what do you do during COVID so well. And three, she's great with people, and she really cares about her staff. And of course, beautiful smile, we all know that. Beautiful colors, Jennifer. I feel so embarrassed that I came in these dark colors today. And it is also fantastic to see your family here, your husband, your brothers, their wives. One of them came all the way from California, if I'm not wrong. And this is the eldest of the brothers, flew from California for Jennifer. Sure, she deserves that. And I can say I am very attached to you, Jennifer. I really like working with you. I really like being with you. So I hope you have a guest room in Jamaica. So, let me finish by saying, of course we will miss you. But one thing we learned about the fund is it is a family. And people, when they retire, they don't mind coming every so often. So please don't mind that. I saw some of the retirees in the audience. Please be one like them. Come and see us. And I'm told that in Jamaica, what you say is big up. So big up. And walk good, Jennifer, walk good. Congratulations.
Thank you, Kristalina, for those inspirational words and very, very apt words for Jennifer. And without a doubt, I must say that you were the steady wind that guided us through the pandemic as well. And I know Jennifer will commend you on that, because you continue to propel us through turbulent times ahead. So thank you both.
You can clap and go. We're here to have fun, right? And speaking of fun, it gives me a pleasure to introduce the next speaker, former CSF Director, Chris Hemus.
Hello, old friends. What a lovely sea of familiar faces. What a bittersweet time for us all, and especially our guest of honor, Jennifer Lester. I'm always struck that retirement remarks have much in common with eulogies. Everyone recounts their memories and the achievements of the honoree, and how much they were loved. Well, rest assured, today, to butcher William Shakespeare, I come to praise Jennifer, not to bury her. But for this, I need your help. Cast your minds back to the very first time that you met Jennifer. Remember the interactions you've had over the years, and come up with one word that best describes Jennifer. Don't overthink it, just the first word that comes to mind. Now, I would ask you to shout it out, but they only gave me 10 minutes. So hold that word in your mind and your memory and treasure it, for you surely will encounter very few leaders or friends of Jennifer's caliber in your lifetime. The IMF is full of intellectuals. Just look at you and me. Kidding aside, this intellectual bias sometimes favors talking over doing, theorizing over practicalities, process over action. There was no such luxury for Jennifer and the crisis management team in the COVID pandemic. And I believe her success in navigating those stormy waters can be attributed to a simple maxim, namely, it is people, not processes, that get things done. This maxim is also embodied in CSF's reputation for service delivery, and in that spirit, I wish continued success to Brian and all the many CSF colleagues here today. As the Managing Director said, a focus on people is the hallmark of a leader. It is also the epitome of friendship. That is why, for me, my one-word characterization of Jennifer is empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. Or as the Austrian psychologist Alfred Adler said, empathy is seeing with the eyes of another, hearing with the ears of another, and feeling with the heart of another. Doesn't that sound just like Jennifer? Empathy requires wisdom and experience, and surely Jennifer has always been wise beyond her youthful years. But that's not all. I'm invoking the speaker's privilege and selecting a second word to characterize Jennifer's people-focused philosophy and her many, many talents and achievements. Discernment. Discernment is the ability to judge well, what the HR experts typically call sound judgment. It is all about sorting and sifting, framing and filtering, about separating signal from noise. It requires keen perception, insight, acumen, all of which Jennifer has in spades. It was the poet Lord Byron who I believe summed up discernment best. And as a personal aside, this quote really characterizes how I felt when Jennifer and I first started working together. Lord Byron said, "Her great merit is finding out mine. There is nothing so amiable as discernment." So I had the good fortune to work closely alongside Jennifer in CSF for almost 5 years. I witnessed these attributes firsthand, and I know you too have over her career. However, the two that I've mentioned only just scratch the surface. What word did you choose to characterize Jennifer? I'm sure that today, if we gathered in this room all those words, there would be an extraordinarily deep collection of adjectives and nouns which sing her praises and make Jennifer so special to all of us. So, I exhort you to take the opportunity to express those words. Express them in person, express them today, but also express them in coming days and months, because retirement is both a joy and a sorrow. Joy at the threshold of a new doorway, sorrow at the finish line of old paths and cherished companions. So Jennifer, as you cross that threshold, we all salute your many achievements. And Jennifer, as you leave the fun behind, we also hold you dear and hold dear all of our memories. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And I want to take this opportunity to say that it's so good to see CSF folks from when I first started 5 years ago. I'm not going to call out names because I see some, but others may be hidden. But it brings back very good memories. So thank you for taking the time out and spending with us today. In the interest of being brief, being concise, we have a couple of more speakers, but what we did was we said, okay, it's impossible to get everyone who wants to say something to have the opportunity to come up and talk. So what we did, we put together a tribute video with just a few of your colleagues that wanted to say something, and we had the opportunity to get them taped and edited. Some needed to be edited. And we're going to show that video right now.
Jennifer, I guess the time to bid a very reluctant farewell has finally come. Today, we will realize how hard it is to say goodbye to somebody who not only is a great leader and a great boss, but also a role model to young women like myself.
You have a very rare quality, Jennifer, common sense, which in my experience is perhaps the least common of all senses. During the long and happy period when we worked together in the legal department, you were always able to pull my head out of the clouds and bring it down to earth.
You have been such a pillar of wisdom and a permanent calming figure in LAG, CSF, and the fund over the years.
I have learned so much from you, and I've also leaned so much on you.
You taught me so much. And here, on my bookshelf, I keep my Jennifer Lester dictionary. a handy reference guide to everything I've learned from Jennifer.
I cannot tell you how much I've learned from you. It was a great privilege to have worked with you as closely as we have on a number of issues over the years.
Jennifer over the years has given me, and I think all of us, pretty darn good advice that we could act on, and that was, practical, just reflected good judgment. I always thought she was someone I could go to for advice.
You're such a caring manager and inspirational leader. Your legacy and career success will continue to inspire many, especially minority women in this institution.
Sometimes senior leaders, senior managers are unaware of the profound impact that they can have on colleagues' lives. Certainly, you have impacted my life, and I am sure the lives of several other colleagues. And I hope that all of us can retribute to the institution a little fraction of what you have done for all of us.
A few years ago, I was studying for my LLM exam, and I remember sitting in my office on a rainy afternoon reading a law textbook. Suddenly, I turned around and saw you standing at the door. I was totally surprised, and I had no idea why a director would show up unexpectedly. Turns out you had stopped by to see how my studies were progressing, how many courses I had completed, and how long I needed to finish the LLM. After that conversation, I felt right back on track, and I knew there was no turning back.
One of the things that I enjoyed most about working with you is that grades and hierarchy did not mean anything to you. You made sure that everybody around you felt seen, heard, and appreciated.
There is a famous Chinese saying, everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. But you have always been able to see good things in everyone. I could not ask for a more respectful and kind colleague, a wiser counsel, and most of all, a more trusted friend.
I think you know that I admire your calm, quietly confident nature, sound judgment, and good humor. These qualities have brought us all safely through the pandemic under your leadership of the crisis management team.
You're a superb manager, you're a fantastic leader, and really you set just a great example through your creative approach to some pretty difficult problems. And we certainly did our fair share of sorting through difficult problems with some creative solutions over the past few years.
Jennifer, I can honestly not believe that the fund is allowing people to retire at such a young age. You are the only person who would understand our P-word joke as the mastermind of the piano soirees, and I'm really saddened about this. But I hope that you'll find the time to come back and play for us at the next piano soiree. Hope the next chapter of your life is filled with beautiful, musical, artistic things and all the things wonderful, and we miss you here.
As a woman and as a new manager, you have been an inspiration to me. I wish you the best in this new stage in your life. Happy retirement, Jennifer. You deserve it in Jamaica or wherever you go.
Thank you so much for everything you have done for us, for the department, and for the institution.
Thank you, Jennifer. I wish you a very, very happy retirement and a wonderful journey ahead.
I will miss you dearly and wish you all the best with the next chapter of your life. Happy retirement.
Happy retirement, and we'll talk soon.
Bon voyage, Jennifer.
Thank you for being such a warm personality, really for being eternally kind, and for being a great friend to me as well.
Have fun and enjoy this exciting new phase. You've done it all, so relax, smell the roses, and enjoy yourself.
The fund has been lucky to have you. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for everything that you have done for us all.
This is very bittersweet because I am very happy for you, but of course we are sad to see you go. Congratulations on your well-deserved retirement, and I look forward to hearing about all the exciting adventures that await you ahead.
We'll miss you here, and you can rest assured that I will be reaching out to you as many others here, I'm sure, for your wise counsel as ever. Huh? Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you so, so much. We'll really miss you here.
And we really could not video all the persons who really wanted to say something. We would be here until probably tomorrow. So this is just a snippet. Now I'll welcome on stage Miss Joan Powers, former Assistant General Counsel, who will give us some dirt on Jennifer, because she knew Jennifer when Jennifer just joined the fund.
Thank you very much. Well, Jennifer, it's a pleasure to be here today to help celebrate your amazing career at the fund. I'm pleased to say that I was the one who recruited Jennifer to the fund back in 1997. Thank you. We had met several times before at these periodic luncheons of administrative lawyers in the Washington-based international organizations. So when there was a vacancy in our unit, I approached her to see if she'd be interested in joining the fund, and she was. Well, she told the General Counsel of PAHO that she was going to be leaving to come to the fund. Don't you know, the General Counsel immediately picked up the phone, called me, and started screaming at me, "How could you do this to me? I thought we were friends. You're stealing my best lawyer. Have you no shame?" I said, "Heidi, it's simple. We're simply going to pay her more than you possibly could." Right? And do you know that to this day, 25 years later, Heidi still brings this up every single time I see her. You know that. Well, I can see why PAHO's loss was our gain. Jennifer quickly became an invaluable member of our unit. She soon took on an assignment that ended up with her name in the Wall Street Journal, and not in a good way. Remember? We discovered that there was a small company in California that called itself IMF Loans. Yes, IMF Loans. So Jennifer sent them a standard cease and desist letter pointing out that the International Monetary Fund had a registered trademark in the abbreviation IMF, and that their use of the abbreviation was therefore unauthorized and illegal. Well, do you know, poor little IMF Loans went to the press trying to portray themselves as David to our Goliath. And this story got picked up by the Wall Street Journal on the front page, and the story referred to a heartless bureaucrat named Jennifer Lester. This is true. Google it, you'll see what I mean. But Jennifer was not deterred. We went to the executive board for a waiver of immunity and got approval to initiate a lawsuit against IMF Loans. Well, in the end, it turned out that IMF Loans was a scam and they were on the run from the FBI. So they didn't show up in court, their lawyers resigned, and we won a default judgment against them thanks to Jennifer's perseverance. Thank you, Jennifer. Now, during her time in the legal department, in my view, Jennifer epitomized what an administrative lawyer should be. She spoke at a conference in Geneva in 2014 about the role of lawyers in conflict resolution and promoting harmony within organizations. I recently reread her remarks, and I was really struck by the eloquence of what she said then. Let me quote a few of her words. "While lawyers have to be strong advocates for the organization, they must also be mindful of the need to resolve conflicts in a manner which seeks, to the extent possible, to preserve the employment relationship, rather than allowing a dispute to become so contentious that the relationship is irreparably damaged. Accordingly, the way lawyers conduct themselves is important. Legal counsel ultimately have to be mindful that the goal is not to score points through legal representation, but to resolve the dispute in a manner that is least disruptive to the institution and its staff." And I think that describes the way Jennifer approached issues here at the fund. we've heard the term empathy, and that was the first term that I was going to use when Jennifer comes to mind. She showed respect for everyone involved at all times, and with abundant common sense, as I would quote from Sean Hagan, who's here to talk about this being the least common sense of all. I can say personally that it was very reassuring for me to know that I could turn to Jennifer with respect to any issue or problem, and I know that I'd get sensible advice and counsel in return. Jennifer, you and I have many happy shared memories together. There used to be a tradition in the legal department, I hope you still have this, where each unit would take turns hosting departmental parties. Well, when it was our turn to host the event, Jennifer definitely brought a Caribbean touch. And I see Sean laughing because I think we put a bucket of sand outside your office, we brought in steel drums, and we strung up a volleyball net for people to play. It was quite a time. I think we even got complaints from some other departments that shall remain unnamed. And of course, we had some excellent Jamaican rum. And then Jennifer, you'll remember so many times in the spinning class and in the abs class that also included a former managing director who shall remain unnamed. And then there was the time we skipped out of the conference in Beijing to go shopping with Jan. That was quite a trip. I don't know how you accounted for that in your back to office report, but let's not go there. So Jennifer, let me be the first to welcome you to the IMF retiree community. I know we're going to remain friends and get together regularly at our favorite hangout for drinks and gossip under the cone of silence that we always insist on. Let me wish you and Sydney all the very best as you begin this next phase of your lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Joan. Not only, I told you to bring the dirt on Jennifer, but you brought the sand, but we'll work with that. So next on the program, Jamaicans can't be in the house and there's not a party, right, Jennifer? So, a certain bird, where is she? Where's Camila? A certain bird, and I won't point any finger, told us that you have a favorite reggae song. And not only is it a beautiful song, but we also think that that song so incredibly describes who you are. And based on what we have heard here from all your friends and colleagues, you chose well. So here goes Taras Riley. She's royal.
Riley, enough love. I heard that this is your favorite song. So this is a special livocation to you as a trailblazer, a trendsetter, and definitely so royal. Cha. Oh, Jennifer, everybody love you, boy. Now I never been someone shy until I seen you rise, and then I had to try. Yeah, Jennifer, trailblazer and a trendsetter, ambitious and a hard worker. Every time, yeah, I know everyone can relate to when they find a special someone. She's royal, Jennifer, so royal, and we give thanks for her life. Never knew anyone so one of a kind. No, the way she moved to her own beat, she's got the qualities of a queen. Oh, Jennifer, she's a queen. Now, ooh, what a natural beauty. She don't need no makeup to be a cutie. She's a queen. Oh, Jennifer, she's a queen. Yeah. And when they ask what a good woman's made of, ask anybody, and then we tell you. But Jennifer, oh, she's royal. Whoa, so royal. Yeah. And we give thanks for her life. Never knew anyone so one of a kind. Jennifer, it's your time. Whoa. Tasha representing once again for the lovely, royal, regal, special Jen. It's like a gem. Jennifer, bless her myself all the time. Oh gosh, man. Warm and easy. You know? To the sweet part, you know. Whoa. Well, I know the king and queen crown same time. So I would never leave your side. To stick with me through the trial times. She whoa, and she says she no mind. Right, I know a good man is hard to find. And she can't but that draw the line. That's why she has no ties at this time. Boy, I know many men were trying, but she needs to be more than wine and dine, because she's royal, Jennifer, so royal. Love you, and I want her in my life. Never knew anyone so one of a kind. Congratulations, it's your time. Yeah, well, this is the voice of Tarsha Riley, your singer. I will say love and respect and all things bright and beautiful to the one and only Jennifer. May your dreams continue to come true. Right, you. Bless.
Jennifer, I know you're stunned, but you're royal. And Taras rewrote his song just for you. You're that special.
So at this time, I want to have Mark Cameron come forward. And as Mark is coming forward, I want to say that we commissioned an artist to do a work of art that would epitomize Jennifer and the things that she adores, she loves, and that she has fun with. So with input from us, and Mark is actually going to give you some insight into the process of this piece. And then we're going to, Jennifer, not now, but we're going to have you come up when we unveil it. So Mark, I'm going to give you an opportunity to walk us through that creative process. I think, yeah, you can use that one.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'm quite honored to be able to be presenting such a piece of artwork to a lady of distinction and her brothers who were from my alma mater, Jamaica College. Yes. The piece I did is called Skank, and it pretty much reflects your personality and the dynamic personality and the person that you are. It is abstract representational, it's not the usual. As you know, ska is a precursor for reggae music and Afrobeats and all the other genres that we have in the Caribbean today. And I'm just happy that I'm here to present this to you, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
So at this time, Jennifer, if you could come up, I'll come get you.
You guys need a Dr. Ready?
Yes.
Must be Anne-Marie's doing.
My mic is on. Okay.
So now so as Mark said, ska is the precursor to reggae and dancehall. So this is a piece of ska. So as
Hold the mic. People can't hear you.
oh, thank you. You're mansplaining the mic to me.
We're a team. We're a
Thank
team.
you.
I want them to hear you.
So, we have an expression in Jamaica. You think me did done? Me just a come. So, I'm going to invite Mr. Lester on stage.
Come on up, Sydney.
Lester. And so, Sydney, as a woman, I can say beside every strong woman is sometimes a strong man. And I can say that Jennifer could remain calm under pressure because we know you are there for her to go home and True. So we want to say thank you, and the artist on his own initiative has done a piece just for you as our thank you for being behind and beside and in front of Jennifer for all these years. So, I could describe this painting, but anyone in the house who do not know who this person is needs to raise their hand. This is Robert Nestor Marley. The Honorable Robert Nestor Marley. One love.
We'll put it here. So now, Jennifer, is the opportunity for you to give a few remarks. Be brief. The bar is waiting. No, take as much time as you want.
I have it. Wow. Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to see so many of you here. My friends, my colleagues, past and present. I don't quite know where to begin. It's so overwhelming. But let me try to say a few words, and hopefully I'll make it through to the end. First of all, I want to say how much your presence means to me here today, and those extremely kind words and sentiments you've expressed. I really feel extremely humbled. I also want to thank everyone, all of my colleagues and friends in CSF, LEG, COM, ITD, and other departments across the fund who have gone to such lengths to put on this really warm and wonderful event, and for your extreme generosity in doing so. Also want to thank our beloved vendor employees vendor colleagues for their preparing this space and the food we're going to enjoy, and also for the teams who are broadcasting this, I think, to those who could not be here. I especially want to thank management, Kristalina, Bo, who could not be here with us today, Antoinette, Gita, Kenji. Thank you so much for the trust you have placed in me and the support you have given me over these past pandemic years. Kristalina, when you appointed me as Director of Corporate Services and Facilities in February 2020, you had no idea, right, that this pandemic was looming. And to go back to your question you raised, what are the first things I have seen? You were spot on. One of the first things I did was I called Chris Hemus and I said, Chris, you and I are good friends. Tell me truly, did you know about this pandemic before? And he swore on a stack of Bibles that he did not, and I kind of believe him. The other thought that went through my head was that, well, there must have been a reason for this, that I may never know why Kristalina asked me to stay, why this happened at this time, but it is what it is, so let's move on with it. So thank you. It was a huge leap of faith, and I trust that I lived up to the task. To the members of the Executive Board and those who are here tonight, thank you for your very kind support, your engagement, and your tough questions. We're all in a better place because of that. I especially want to salute our own Caribbean constituency EDs, Mr. Jennings from Canada, Mr. Bevilacqua from Brazil, who so generously hosted a Kawi reception in my honor last week. Thank you to all my colleagues and many friends, and especially to my CSF staff, whom I will miss dearly. I will not attempt to single out names. We would be here all night, given the size of our department and the way we work together as a team. Please know that every one of you plays an invaluable role, and together we are greater than the sum of our parts. And happy 7th birthday, CSF! November 1 was our 7th birthday. We were a new department. And I also want to thank my friends and family who are here with us this evening, both in person and virtually. Special thanks to those who traveled from far to be with me. Jamil Bennett, my nephew who came from Jamaica, and Ian and Christine Bennett, my brother and sister-in-law who came from California, as a wonderful surprise. Thank you. In fact, the entire Bennett clan is here. And I'm sure that our parents are smiling down on us. I'm touched beyond words. And of course, last but not least, I must especially thank my constant companion, my most ardent supporter, and my biggest cheerleader, my husband, Sydney. Without whom I could not have done any of this, as well as my children, Akil, who could not be here, Camilla, who is here, and Rachel and Trey. Thank you for your love and for helping me to keep it real and for keeping me in touch with the modern times. I'm so glad my family and friends are here to join me. Do you know why? Because if they didn't come, they would never believe that I'm actually retiring. They tell me that they've heard that from me so many times, and they would have to see it before they believe it. Well, I hope you believe it now. It's happening. So 25 years, a quarter of a century. It's a long time indeed. But don't worry, I'm not going to try to sum up 25 years of being here at the fund. We do have a party to enjoy. But I wanted to share a few thoughts with you as I exit this amazing institution about what working here has meant for me. The IMF means different things to people, evokes different images. But all of us who work here do what we do every day because we sincerely believe that we carry out a unique role in the global community. We contribute to a public good, namely the promotion of economic stability and growth globally. And that by doing so, we are impacting millions of lives across the globe, so especially critical in these times. But the sentiment I feel most at this point is that I personally feel so very fortunate to have been a part of this institution, to work with colleagues from all over the world, different backgrounds, speaking different languages, faraway cultures, but coming together in this place, united by one common goal, to help to make the world a better place. So, why do I specifically consider myself fortunate to have worked here? To answer that, I want to take you a little bit back into my background, share with you some of what has motivated and shaped me. So bear with me. I grew up in a small rural village called Salisbury Plain, in West Rural St. Andrew, a parish which adjoins Kingston, the capital city of Jamaica. Salisbury Plain is beautiful country, where, to borrow a phrase from the renowned Jamaican author, Roger Mays, the hills are truly joyful together. It is made up of lush, verdant, beautiful rolling hills and fertile lands, which produces abundant fruits and provisions. Truly God's country, idyllic. But it's also very remote. And growing up there in pre-internet days, and as the child of school teachers, principals to boot, who were also community leaders, there really wasn't much else to occupy my time except reading, playing with my siblings and friends, both real and imaginary, might I add. There, like my three brothers, I passed my formative years, and we all learned a few key lessons. First, you were the headmaster's child, so you better study your book and be a role model or else. So in other words, education was a top priority. Second, for the entire village community, our parents, and in fact, I would say our entire family, were an important resource, a source of help and guidance for the less fortunate, and they never turned anybody back. Our own family resources were limited, but we learned, that you were expected to help others find a way through life's challenges. So long before innovation and resilience became a thing, we were practicing it. Third, my parents modeled for us that respect is owed to every individual, no matter what their station in life is. Why? Because as humans, we all have the same aspirations, hopes, fears, and joys, and we cannot achieve our dreams alone. Fourth, and finally, it was there through my love of reading, and perhaps endowed with an overactive imagination, I developed a curiosity and a passion to learn about other worlds and other peoples. So that is why I consider myself so fortunate to work in an institution where, one, I could practice in my career all the precepts that I learned as a child, especially that of respect for everyone and the expectation that we should lend a helping hand to others, especially those facing a crisis. And two, I could do so in an international environment right here where I could experience this rich tapestry of our different cultures all in one place. And speaking of crises, it would be remiss of me not to say something about the very challenging period we have been living through. This once-in-a-lifetime, once-in-a-century COVID-19 pandemic from which we are slowly emerging. I'm so very proud of the way the fund quickly moved to support our member countries during this crisis period, under the guidance of our courageous and gutsy managing director, as Jerry Rice put it last night. I especially want to recognize, though, the role we in the fund's crisis management team, the CMT, played. Working collaboratively across the entire institution, the CMT enabled the IMF to continue to carry out its mandate, help our members, and helped our staff, both at headquarters and abroad, to manage the huge uncertainties and dangers of the virus. And here, you will indulge me if I give a special shout out again to my own department, CSF, who did not miss a beat. You all showed commitment, courage, and compassion. And I was so proud to lead you, and so very happy to see us here, nearly 3 years later, back in the building, in the new normal. I'm also very grateful to all our partner departments, ITD, HRD, COM, SEC, LEG, FIN, OIC, our wonderful doctors and staff at HSD, SPR, ORM, and the SAP. You worked tireless to make sure we kept our staff safe and informed, and to support staff, management, and the board. I know that for many, I was the face of the CMT during those uncertain times, and I'm really, really touched by how many people over the past few weeks have reached out to thank me for what I and the CMT did. And many have remarked on the calm I displayed during those times. But I just want to underscore that I was merely guiding the crew. It was really just a massive team effort of which we can all be very proud. Thank you for your recognition of those efforts. And to those of you who ask me, how could I stay so calm? I can only attribute that to two things. First, I had a bit of experience, as Joan will tell you, handling crises at the IMF. And Sean can also recount. I won't tell you what those crises were. And even before that, at the Jamaican embassy, where I served as minister counselor, some of you here will remember Hurricane Gilbert and the 4 blind mice under our dear Ambassador Johnson. And second, I knew that within my own department, CSF, I was never alone. I was especially reassured knowing that our small front office working on the crisis, small front office team working on the crisis could be depended upon to go to all lengths to execute whatever needed to be done. And I said I wouldn't shout out at anyone, but I am going to make an exception. I must make special mention of my dear partner, Brian Christensen, the new director of CSF. And his prodigious capacity to work around the clock and to find creative solutions. And to all the others, to Regina, Bill, Fadzai, Karina, and Sarika. These are just the core, but there are many others. Please give them a round of applause. I'm proud of every one of you across the broader CSF teams who, together with our partner departments, as I said, contributed so much. And I'm just going to name a few of the things we do in CSF. Since I think I'm allowed to toot our own horn at this point. We offer over 120 services, but during this period, you worked to procure and provide protective equipment for staff at headquarters and abroad, and to coordinate our vaccination supply efforts to the field offices, to relocate our staff outside of danger areas, to arrange for rescue charter planes to extricate our staff from conflict or danger zones such as Afghanistan, Ukraine, and Lebanon, to keep our collective spirits up through various activities, to help us keep connected with our members, to help to ensure our annual and spring meetings could proceed seamlessly and virtually with high-quality broadcast products, to ensure that we could communicate with our members in different languages remotely, to ensure our facilities were modernized and adapted to the new environment, to keep us fed, to keep us abreast of current research, to provide ongoing updates and guidance on the pandemic, to manage our resources judiciously, to progress our own CSF modernization initiatives, and to ensure that our vendor employees continued to be supported during the pandemic. And then we all worked, because that wasn't enough, to prepare the institution to come back safely in a new hybrid work model. So, thank you, CSF. I also want to say a word about my Legg family, since I spent 18 years there. They will always have a special place in my heart. And I could tell stories too, but I won't. We worked hard and we parted hard. The bonds we formed have persisted and will continue to persist. After all, we grew up together in this institution. It was there that I learned to deal with the unexpected, to manage unprecedented cases. It was in Legg that I understood what was expected of us as international civil servants and the high standards to which we must adhere. We had to be purer than Caesar's wife. Right, Sean? It was in Legg, too, that the principle of putting the institutional interests first, above all else, was cemented in my mind. And it was in legal that I learned the mantra, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. That principle is one that has served me well. And finally, it was in the administrative unit of the legal department that I took to heart the lesson that no issue is ever simply a theoretical legal concept. There's always a person at the end on whom your legal opinion has an impact. And so whatever we do, we should always be mindful of the human impact. Perhaps that's how I ended up with the monikers of Agony Aunt, and later #Mama Fondo, undoubtedly to my own detriment. But those are stories for another day. Thank you, legal. So to conclude, I consider myself fortunate and privileged to have been a part of this institution. I consider myself fortunate to have had the privilege of working under your leadership, Kristalina, and that of the entire management team. I learned a lot. I made great friends. We had great times. We worked hard, but for good causes. I'm happy to think that I was perhaps able to contribute something to the mandate of the institution and to our members and to our staff. But most of all, I was so fortunate to be able to spend a career working with a wonderful group of people with shared goals and shared values with whom I had fun. What more can one ask for? Thank you all again. So I just also wanted to say how absolutely thrilled I am, and I know I'm speaking for Sydney. We are with these gifts. They are marvelous. Any of you who know us well know that we are kind of art fanatics. And our collection is, we have a little bit of a collection, but it's never enough. So this is really wonderful, and I want to thank you, Nick, for doing this for us. Thank you so much.
Yes, I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. A bright, 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 sunshiny day. Miss Jennifer, we will miss you. We love you. And this one is specifically for you. All right, well, we're just getting ready. Miss Jennifer, this one is for you. I've had my share of life's ups and downs, but God's been kind. The downs, they have been just a few. I guess you could say that I've been blessed. Oh, I guess you could say each line of pain and glory, 'cause you're the best thing that ever happened to me. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. When times were hard, but always somehow I made it through. 'Cause for every moment that I spent hurting, there was a moment that I spent, oh, just loving you. If anyone should ever write my life story, for whatever reason there might be, you'll be there between each line of pain and glory, 'cause you're the best thing that ever happened to me. You're the best thing that ever happened. I know you're the best thing that ever could have happened to me.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Natasha.
Natasha.
Our very own Natasha.
All right. Now we come to the fun part where we get to mingle, we get to indulge in some great Jamaican food and drinks. But before I do that, I want to say thank you to everyone who had any hand in this event. Creative Solutions.
Events.
The
events team.
The events team, hospitality,
Okay,
everyone. Everyone. So if you are sitting at tables, wait staff will actually come to you. So you don't have to worry about getting in the buffet line, which is now open. Enjoy. Have a great evening.
So I'll say it in Jamaican. People who are sitting at tables should sit back at the tables and we will serve you. Everyone else, the buffet line is now open. Go and enjoy some jerk chicken, patties, and other Jamaican cuisine. Thank you.